Okay, we are shooting the assembly of the bed for the Jetta MK4. We're going to hold the front wall in place. We're going to lightly hand tighten with the 8mm bolts that are provided in the kit. We're going to lightly hand tighten the left and the right side onto the front wall, and then we're going to assemble the two bars that hold the rear together. And I think at that point we'll keep it very loose. We don't want to tighten everything yet. We want to lift everything up and kind of wedge it onto the car to see how everything fits. So having said that, why don't you hold the front bar and I'll just, or front wall, and I will grab the side. The passenger side is the larger opening that goes higher because that's the fuel filler side, and you'll notice that that one has a much higher opening on the side. Now we pre-drilled it. Remember, 5/16 holes. Anywhere there's a pierce, you're drilling a 5/16 hole on the bed side. On the bed front wall, you have to leave the small little holes undrilled. So let's put this together just with one bolt. I use the Allen. Make sure you put the Allen side of the bolt on the interior of the car, because you're going to be putting carpet over the interior wall. So that smooth Allen bolt, if you keep it on the interior of the car and have the nut on the outside, it'll work a lot better and won't show you a bump through your carpet. So all I did was hand tighten that. Once again, I'm going to do the top with just one bolt. If we were doing this at home, we would put all the bolts through and just leave them hand tight. So we're going to hand tighten these just to the beginning of the nylock stop. So those two are held, it's very loose, remember. I'm going to take two bolts to the rear. And then once we have it loosely assembled into a box, we'll lift the whole thing and put it on the car. The rear bar, the tab that sticks down a little bit is on the bottom of the bar. I use the flat face of the bar forward. Doesn't really matter for the second bar. For the rearward bar, it does matter. You want this flat face of the C-channel facing to the rear of the car. This is where we bolt some things on, near the roll pan. The two bolts line up to the two pierces. And this one, it really comes in handy to have that little Allen wrench right next to where you're working, because the nut has to be on the inside of the C-channel. So I'm going to do those two over there. So the nut is on the inside. And the bolt is on the outside. Just make it finger tight. That bar right there really does tie everything together. The next bar you just put in place because it's almost impossible to install the second bar unless you do it ahead of time. And once again, these middle bars are a lot easier to do if you have the Allen wrench. So just walking you through, the rearward bar is the 40, is the shorter one. The longer ones are just about 48.5 inches long. These other ones are about 1.5 inches or 1 inch aside, shorter. This gives you the tailgate width. So the reason there's an offset on the back of the bed is because the tailgate is a little bit narrower than the main body of the bed. So we're going to loosely tighten all these bars We have the front wall tying it together. It's a nice little box here, and yet very flexible. So we're going to go one person on each side. We're going to lift it up and kind of just see how a preliminary fit works on our cut Jetta. Are you in good shape there?
One on each.
That's okay. If you got one, you're good. Let's lift the whole thing up. And I'll go on the back side. And hopefully we don't have to move the camera too much. Very good. So just set it down. We're not going to really precision fit right now. The front wall goes in front of the seat there, Tim. There you go. Forward more. Mine looks pretty good setting in there. Let me get yours on the other side. The little wires can get in the way here. See the little wires from the harness. Make sure you're not pinching anything. Like drill. Actually, that one. Oh, let me get this side. Come on. Remember, the wall mounts to the inside of that flange. There we go. So that's slid in. It's a very tight fit. If it's way too tight on your particular car, definitely open up the flange a little bit. Just turn this a little, Tim. So once the bed is in place, it's a snug fit between those two flanges. You've got the two rear bars, and remember, they're just hand tightened. You've got the front wall slid just on the other side of the front edge of the old rear seat metal. So we've lowered the three sides of the bed with the two crossbars in the rear. We've lowered that in place. And remember, nothing is tightened here. All we did was put the bed on the inside edge of this flange. So the CNC cut panels, they do follow the wheel well almost exactly. I mean, to the millimeter or two. And there's even a little recess for little wires that come through. So you really can squeeze this thing in here and get a good idea of how the bed is going to be assembled. We're going to use these flanges to rivet this bed to the body of the car, but we're not going to do that till later. Remember, at first, all you want to do is test fit everything, make sure you can get everything straight and square, and then we're going to tighten everything down and make sure that the tailgate works and that we're square. For right now, we mounted this. We're going to mount the B-pillar brace next and assemble the tailgate in the next installment.